Good morning, good morning. 18 seconds late. Oh my God. It's the end of the world. Dave is 18 seconds late. Good morning, gang. Got some sunshine here this morning. It's beautiful out there today. Another beautiful, beautiful day. You can see still the dirt on the ground here next to the construction next door. We've received the notice. The guy from the gas company came the other day. I might have told you. They've announced the construction. They're going to fill this and they're going to fix the one across the street. It's happening at around noon on, is it Wednesday? I can't remember. They brought the sheet. So maybe by the next time, this next stream, that might be gone. We'll see. Or it could be a week later. I don't remember. Yeah, peaceful morning out here. Today is a quiet day for me. I've got a ton of work to do, but it's nobody upstairs. There's no paper out. There's no printers here. They were adjusting their schedules to try and basically keep away from each other, but other schedules also conflict, and they've screwed it up a bit. Today, nobody is here, and tomorrow, 3 people are here. Suga-san, Ayumi-san, and Ishikawa-san. They're all here tomorrow upstairs. But today, nobody. Okay, we have a mixed bag here today. There's going to be a bit of embossing today. Kubota-san just sent back a batch of prints, and you know the drill with Kubota-san. He doesn't do any embossing. He'll emboss the name of the print, but he won't emboss his own name on it. So he's put the proper name on it, New Year at Asakusa, but he won't do his own name. So I've got to do that this morning, and we need to do this today because it's got to go to Ome this afternoon. So I'll be doing this or half of it this morning. Then what else I've got? There's prints waiting to be checked. I'm not going to do those on the stream. I can just show you as they go through. This is another back issue. This is from Tsushima-san. She prints this in Ome. Actually, she's working at home in Ome, but she sends them over here to me for signing, not signing, for checking and checking over. Then, oh, is it okay? This is top secret. This is the March print. This is the batch from Dei-chan. 2 batches are now finished. It's a Koryusai eagle, and it's got some nice metallic pigments at the bottom. Simple and clean. I don't need to emboss this because Dei-chan did her own work on this. So let's get organized here. Don't need that. Don't need that. Oh, we've got show and tell stuff. Let's get this out of the way. We have a fun show and tell today. Oh, and also, we've got more work. There's some color separation work to be done today. So we'll split this in 2. First, I'll do some embossing. Maybe I'll go halfway down the pile, and then I'll switch over. And we're going to be doing purple marker job today. So it's going to be a real mix. It's going to be a real mix today. I didn't have time to get my breakfast. This is something new. I couldn't resist getting this yesterday. I was in the convenience store last night just getting some juice and some coffee. And I found this in the drinks section. It's a drink. Those of you who can read katakana, cheesecake. Nomichatta. Nomichatta. Drank it. As in, I can't believe I actually drank this. Nomichatta. Cheesecake nomichatta. And it says, bikkuri, with a question mark. Are you surprised? Drinkable cheesecake. Ingredients: milk products, something sugar grape, so some kind of grape sweetener, salt, kaori, what do you call it? Flavoring, and then artificial sweeteners, acerufam K, and scurarose, and carotene, artificial colors. I don't know. Cheesecake in a cup. Okay, let's get some work done. Let's get some work done. This is carving bowl suri kubota. That's the one we need here today. We have an in pile, an in tray, an out tray, and a moistening pad. Paper out. There's no paper out today. There's no printers upstairs. Nobody here today, so I was able to sleep in. Not. Wait, no registration marks here. What's going on? What's going on? GJJJ here. Oh, I see. This is the board for the portraits prints. I see. So I'm gonna have to create a registration mark here. Just a second. There must be another board upstairs that I've used for this. It's got my name as a carver and Kubota as a printer. Let's try it. Looks good. We can pull it out a bit farther, I think. Okay, let's have a look. It's the usual stuff. It's Hori Buru, carving by David Bull, Sri Kubota. One of the print. I'm really happy with this print. It's one of our best ones, I think. Absolutely one of our best ones. It's the first print in the Japan Journey series, and there's still lots and lots and lots of orders for these. That series for us, we joke about it here. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's Jed's pension. Who knows? It's just a wonderful, wonderful set of prints. It's just going to keep going forever and ever and ever. At some point, the block set will start to wear out. At the moment, it's totally no problem. We've only done a few hundred copies of each of these prints. But at some point, the blocks will wear out, and it doesn't matter. We'll just carve another set. For prints that are this popular, just like the Great Wave in the old days, you know, your blocks wear out, just carve some more. These are not limited editions. We just keep making more. How did the cleaning go on Tuesday? The cleaning on Tuesday was cancelled. There was no cleaning on Tuesday. It was cancelled because of Corona. It's part of the avoiding large gatherings, etc., etc., etc. So somebody in the top end of this, the Kaicho-san, the leader of the group, must have just decided to, let's pull the plug. So he pulled the plug. There was a notice sent under the door the evening before that said tomorrow's cleaning is cancelled. So individually, people are still doing it. I didn't do it this morning, but yesterday I just swept out front. We do the sweeping and stuff, of course, all the time. But the major cleaning, going after the gum on the road and wiping the pigeon crap and stuff like that, it'll have to wait till next month. But there was a funny thing about that, it's the turn of the year, and the Kaicho-san, the leader of the Merchants Association here, he brought around a copy of the annual general meeting notes. There had been an annual general meeting. They'd sent me a note about it months ago. I don't go. There's nothing I can contribute. I'm a new face here, whatever. So anyway, so he came around with the notes from the annual general meeting, and it had a clip at the back with the update of the members list. There's 30 shops, 28 shops on this particular two block stretch of this street in Tokyo. And I was very curious to read that because I wanted to know, are the new people next door, have they decided to join and stuff like this? So I read through the 28 names on the list here and realized that there was a bit of a mistake. The new people are here, the crepe shop is here, the new restaurant next door is here. But the old restaurant, the one that changed on the corner, the one you can see in the video here, the udon shop, that was still there. So I was thinking, 28, if he's still there, that doesn't make any sense because there's only 28 buildings here, so who's missing? So I go through the list again and again, looking up the street, over he's there, yeah, he's there, he's there, he's there. I get to the list and I can't figure out who's missing. There's an extra name in there. Somebody's forgotten to be taken off, and they're missing one. And you know where this story's going? It's me. He'd forgotten to put Moko Hankan on. So I walk over to the whale restaurant and chat with the guy. And I'm like, hey, thanks for the update of the annual general meeting, and interesting to see, and blah, blah, blah. We chat about that for a minute. And then you got a problem here, because whenever you're complaining about something, you have to really be careful. You can't complain too vividly, So I said, "あのですね、名簿の方ですね、the list of names." He said, 新しくなりましたね. We did a whole new refresh of this. And I said, I'm like, そうですね、新しくなりました. It all became really new. ですが, but, point. And that's the key that something is wrong. ですが, but, and he's like, what's wrong? I said, you forgot me. So, and he's like, no way. He grabs it from my hand and we look at it and it's not there. So, he's all apologetic and I'm like, I don't really care. Relax, it's no big deal. Just maybe, have the person in charge, have them fix it, whatever. But he's bowing and apologizing. So he came over like an hour later. He's gone to his secretary type person, and they've redone it and refixed it and printed them all out again, and they take a copy around to everybody. So now I've got some, what's the word? You get your bonus points and your demerits, for the next couple of weeks or so. Every time I meet him on the street, he's going to be bowing, I'm sorry about the mistake. And I'm like, look, it doesn't matter. I should be paying attention to the stream here. I'm sorry about this. Brownie points, that's the word. Yeah. Got your brownie points. So now's the time to ask a favor. Well, yes and no, because you can't be too blatant about this, Otherwise, he's just going to say, come on. You got to be careful about this sort of stuff. to be careful about asking for favors because it means you have really put yourself in the obligation, you know. And then when the other person comes to you, if it's something you might not really want to do, your position is now much weaker. So it's a tough call, very, very tough call. Just let it go in the background, and like John said, the brownie points are there, and everybody knows they're there. So. Well, the water hurt the ink? No, not at all. No, this print was born in water. Oh, the paper was moistened. The pigments are all made from water. When it was created, it was soaking wet piece of paper. It was wet start to finish when it was created. These pigments are water. I'm not sure the word expression. They're water-soluble pigments as they are pigments. But once they're done like this, once they're rubbed into this paper, I could actually take this print. I could run the sink full of hot water, I could put this paper in it and let it get soaked. And we do that when we're peeling back off. Sometimes the old prints are glued to backing sheets and we take them off in water. I've got to qualify what I'm saying. This print is okay in water. Some woodbug prints are okay in water. Most traditional Japanese prints are okay in water, not all of them. There's a certain class of pigments that don't. That if you put the print in water, that pigment will dissolve into the water and you're going to have a red bath and the print will be destroyed. But the particular kind of pigments we are using here, and for most of Japanese print history, the pigments are totally safe. We can wash prints and we can take the backing off. You've seen me do it. We did it once on one of the streams upstairs a couple of years ago. I peeled the backing off a bunch of prints on stream. So this little tiny bit of water here is absolutely no problem whatsoever. When I got up this morning, I was a bit worried about the voice. I don't know, is it a different sounding voice or not? I don't know, because I'm feeling very different. I was a bit concerned that I may not actually be able to do this morning. No, not sick, just overdid it. I did some video preparation yesterday. I started in the middle afternoon and I didn't finish till about 1 or 2 in the morning, and it was video recording. Started a new video, sat in front of the camera and talked to the camera. And partway along I realized it's dry, I'm drinking dry. I just overdid it yesterday. Quite surprised myself. Multiple takes. Warm green tea. Actually, I think I'll be having some cold cheesecake. I don't know. Looks like you've got 6 different conversations going on over there. I don't even know what you're talking about. I see soccer, I see German, I see language, I see different words coming by here. I can't follow it at all, but it looks like somebody's got good conversation going on. The less interesting the stream is, the more variety comes into the conversation, I guess, right? Is that the idea? Someone's late for work. Am I familiar with the Ukiyo-e Heroes series of prints by Jed Henry? Am I familiar? I heard about him somewhere. Rings a bell. It rings a bell. The Ukiyo-e Heroes series of prints by Jed Henry. It rings a bell. I've seen them somewhere, I think. Can you tell me more? Actually, I shouldn't do that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't pull your leg. It's not fun. It's not fair making fun of people. We make them here. This is the place where the Ukiyo-e Heroes prints are made. So, sorry. I think... so... This is Mokuhanka. This is the workshop who make Jed's prints. So... In fact, one of the things I showed you just a moment ago, this print here, this is a Jed Henry design. It's one of our portraits prints. The large Ukiyo-e Heroes prints, we make those, and then we also do subscription prints based on the Ukiyo-e Heroes concept. So this is a Jed Henry design. This is a Jed Henry design. It's funny, it's a Jed Henry design, but his name is not on this. My name is on here. Kubota-san, the printer's name, is on here. The title of the print is on here. Jed's name is not on this thing. On the larger Ukiyo-e Heroes prints, after we finish each one, we send them over to America, to Utah. And Jed, with every single one, he checks over it, and he then signs his name on them, and he puts a seal on. He's got a red seal that he puts on the front of the prints. But with the subscription prints, because it's a bang, 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 bang business, there's no possibility to send them over to the US like that and back and forth. So we just fire them out of here. He knows they're his. He gets his royalty, of course. Yeah, Jed's in Utah. He's in Provo. He was due to come over here, and in November he was going to come over for another sketching trip. He's been doing that every last few years. He's come in the winter. He does one of the large conventions in Tokyo. Comic-Con? I forget what it was. I forget which convention he does in November in Tokyo, and then spends a week or so sketching out in the boonies. But to this last December, November, December, he wasn't able to come, obviously. So he's saving up for next year, and I think he's bought his plane ticket already for the next one. For next November, or this coming November. He got a real deal, he said, on a flight, and he bought his ticket already. He's an optimist, this guy. An optimist. It's possible Japan will be ready to allow foreign visitors by that time. It's just as possible it won't be. Okay, tell you, let's do a few more of these. Let's run till 8:30. I'm not going to sit here for the whole hour doing this embossing. It's no fun. Let me run till 8:30. Then I'll switch jobs and I'll do some of the color separation work. It's no fun if it's just the same job all the time here. But I do have to get this done today, so there's those two conflicting. New people here, what's going on? Okay, we'll show you after this one. Hang on a sec. The print is finished. It's been finished by one of our professional printers. And this is the final step. I will be going through them a few times today. I'm going through first to put on the embossing of the craftsmen's names for this print. One of them is me. It's Hori carving Buru, that's me, David Bull, and then Suri Kubota. So this is carved by Bull and printed by Kubota. So this is my first pass through these prints today. After this is finished, after the stream's over, I'll be going through them again to check for little scraps of paper bark that might be in here and whether that print is going to be rejected. Kubota-san's a good printer, but still some of his prints, not all of them get through. So I'll be making one more pass today through these to check those two things. And I've got 7 or 8 different prints to do today. It's going to be a very, very, very busy day for me here. Sitting at this bench, embossing prints, and checking them. Ome wants these tomorrow. Some of these, his customers are waiting for some of these now. So I've got to get going on this. I've got to get this finished today, get them all in a box, and tomorrow morning Ome will get this present. And too, I'm so glad we're in Japan here. We've got, as I showed you these prints, we've got like 7 batches of prints from printers. I put them all in a box, wrap them up, put some tape on the outside, put the label of the Ome workshop on it, and then I leave it outside here. The guy picks up at 5, so sometime after, he comes between 3 and 5. So I put it outside at 3 o'clock and just leave it. I'll then go upstairs and get busy with my work. So this box with 7 times 80, 500-600 woodblock prints is going to sit outside the shop here with the label on it. And I'll come back down maybe 6 o'clock, whatever it is, it's going to be gone. Okay, good. Box is gone, all is happy. And the next day, Ome will get it in the morning. I mean, how many places in the world can you do that? Just leave a box of 600 woodblock prints outside your shop, and meanwhile go upstairs and do some other work. Same thing happens at the other end. If he's early delivering, he might be there, say, 8:39 in the morning. They won't be there till 10 o'clock. He just leaves the box outside the door. They get there at 10 o'clock, pick it up, and away they go inside. Whatever, I shouldn't talk about such things, but anyway, whatever. To me, that's normal. But for some other places, I guess it's not normal. I don't know. You guys are still talking about German. It's interesting, whatever. Double conversations going on. Okay, it's 8:30. Let's put this away for a while. I said I'd put it away, so here we go. I am roughly halfway through this deck. A little bit more than halfway, but anyway, put it away for now. Come back to it after the stream. And in the meantime, let's do some of this. Recognize the design, recognize the print. It's not our dog design here. This is work on the color separations. Have I got the original? Where is it? Oh, I don't have it here with me. It's somewhere. I don't know where it is. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here's the key block for this print. You can see the idea. This is one of the designs in our Nekohake series, the 8 Views of Cats. And it's the evening bell print. And the evening bell, we can't hear it. The evening bell is here. There's obviously, it's a sushi shop which has a pet cat, or not a pet cat, but it has a relationship with a cat. The key block was finished a few weeks ago. I took impressions from the key block, a whole bunch of them, chuck, 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 and we are now, what have I done here? It's an I took the color separation ideas from the designer in Photoshop, prepped them in Photoshop onto the sheets, printed that out at the same size, and yesterday against the window, I went outside in the freezing freaking cold and the light inside, and I used the window as a light table to put some of the lines here rather than freehand it. And my job now to make this sheet ready for the carver, this is going to be pasted down on a piece of wood, but to make it ready for the carver, I now have to make it visible to her what she needs to do. In other words, an area that's going to be color has to be colored in on this sheet. Now, this won't be a sheet for the red color. This color is just imaginary. It's just simply a color to fill in a zone so that the carver knows where to carve and where to leave. And these areas that I'm going to touch in here now, these are the areas that will be left behind. The carver will take away everything around these so that when it's printing time, these are the areas that will be printing. Was Jed here? Somebody said? Jedson? Oh, the Jed is here. Okay, he's out. Oh well, come and gone. Easy come, easy go. Sorry, Jedson, if you're still here, I missed that. I do have a sore throat. You know, I really overdid it yesterday with the speaking, talking all day from about 3 o'clock to late at night. Just endless. Take 1, take 2, take 3. I really overdid it. I didn't think it was going to be a problem, but it wasn't such a good idea. Whether the resulting video will be any good or not, I don't know. That's my next job now, to have a look at it. Can we zoom in a bit if we do this? What's Someone asked earlier, status of submissions for 8 views. They're still open. 3 of them are done. Obviously, the 2 that are already published, we're not looking at submissions for those. And this one also, Evening Bell, that's closed. But nothing else is nailed down permanently. If you have some ideas for any of the other 5 themes, we'd be still willing to look at them. And Descending Geese, I'm thinking I'm pretty good at. Descending Geese, I've got some very, very strong submissions. So if nothing else comes in for those, I'm good to go. Also, Evening Glow, I also have some very strong stuff. Even though I haven't decided which one yet, there are some very strong candidates. So Descending Geese and Evening Glow, I'm pretty much set on. The ones I haven't got a clear picture in my mind, Clearing Weather, Autumn Moon. What's the other one, the 8th one then? Clearing Weather, Autumn Moon. I can't remember them all, sorry. And I sort of apologize for how slow that project is moving. Part of it is like the virus thing, the fact that it disrupted all of our work here. But it's not just that. It's Dave. It's not procrastination. It's simply frustration with so many things going on and not being able to pay attention to them all. But it's my fault. I should have been more careful about paying attention to this project. In some cases, I just let it go. It was waiting for me to write back to some people. I didn't write back. So it's my fault. It could have moved forward quicker. In the long run, it doesn't matter because the 8 prints will end up being there. But a lot of the buzz is spoiled. When I let things go a couple of months without any action, a lot of the buzz around the project gets spoiled. So this is my fault. But yeah, it is moving on. It's moving forward. Have you reviewed all contributions? Yes, of course. I see everything that comes in. It goes into a database here. I've got a file with all the images inside. And then I don't look at these things every day, of course, but whatever. But when it comes time for me to think about them, what to decide, of course I go through. I have the master file of all the submissions, and then I have a first stage file. What happens is when the submissions first come in, I click the link in my email box, I see the submission, and within 10 seconds, it's sort of my rule, within the first few seconds, I flag it if I think, there's something here. If it doesn't grab me or touch me or feel me or whatever, or like, what is this, then I don't flag it and it just goes into the main bucket. So I've got the main box full of all these things, and then I've also got, as I said, the ones that Dave here has said, and I've marked those. Are we shipping prints to the UK? UK is, I believe, on the list. I'm not sure if Cameron is in the stream here today. He's got the up-to-date facts on it. I believe UK. He sent 2 of them over to me, not yesterday, day before. He sent me 2 packages. I'm shipping from Asakusa. Our other staff ships from Ome. And I shipped 2 packages to the UK on Tuesday. Someone's asking about the European streaming time. I haven't made any decisions on that yet. There is quite a bit of feedback coming in, and as expected, the feedback is sort of helpful, but sort of not helpful. Mr. A suggested do it at this time, Mr. B suggested do it at this time, Miss C said let's do it at this time. So there was a whole bunch of suggestions, and there's clearly interest in this. So I will be doing this, but I haven't sorted out what to do. And another idea on this that I didn't bring up the other day, what I myself said was maybe one of the 3 weekly streams should be moved to a different time. There is another idea in that keep these 3 streams as they are and just simply add 1 more. You missed the old afternoon streams. Afternoon streams. I'm not sure what you mean. When I did it myself in my afternoon, it was impossible. At the beginning, I did this 6 days a week, morning and afternoon. It was unsustainable. Absolutely unsustainable, of course. I didn't know. But in the earliest days for us on Twitch, it was 6 days a week, 9 o'clock, I think 8 o'clock in the morning, and then 5:30 in the afternoon or something. I can't believe I actually tried to do that. Well, if I were, just a craftsman working at a bench somewhere, if there was nothing else going on, if Dave was, just, for example, just a printer, then it would be doable, You could simply come to your bench in the morning, sit down, turn the camera on, and then do your work, and then turn it off when you left at the end of the day. You could do that sort of streaming, where just simply your bench was live. It wouldn't be any extra work for you. It would just be people could watch over your shoulder what you were doing. So that would very much be doable. In my case, that's not the way things work, because I'm just running around this building all day doing different things in different places. And also, many of the things I do are not streamable or not interesting. After this is over, as I said, I've got to check these prints and then pack them. I've got to find boxes, make cardboard boxes, get it ready, do the shipping, write the labels. None of that is interesting. But a pure craftsman's bench, someone who sat there at regular time every day doing the work, that would be eminently streamable. Are you keeping track to see if I'm forgetting any places? What's this? I asked before, but I missed it. I was wondering if you could add text on your videos right in the rough your decade when you made yeah. That's an interesting point, It's a bit wider than what you're saying, as though I have a general policy, and this is actually a policy I really try and stick to. I have a general policy of when I'm doing the videos talking about the old prints and stuff, I have a policy of not using Japanese terms. I mean, the word ukiyo-e has now become English, so I use that all the time. And there are 3 or 4 more terms that in my own mind, and this may be wrong, that in my own mind, they have become now generically understood by people. And those era names to me are among those. I use the words Edo, Meiji, Taisho, Showa, and those are the 4 eras that reflect, the time period when prints were made. And I've been thinking that anybody with a basic interest in this knows what those words are. But you won't hear me use Japanese words other than those 4, because the policy is to try and make these videos and this conversation as generically accessible to everybody as possibly can. So it's interesting to see you here. It's confusing for you or whatever to say late Meiji or Edo. So I guess, the other thing that I want to avoid, I want to avoid using dates. This was common in the late Meiji period, 1875 to 1915, because that's, to me, that's even worse. Dates and numbers and dates, that's where sort of Dave himself tunes out. So, okay, point taken, I'll think about this. Point taken, yeah, so maybe, a little sub thing on the video, Meiji equals 1850 to such and such. That's not a bad idea, nay. Okay, point taken, and I will think about this for consideration. Thank you. But the general policy absolutely is to use as little Japanese as possible. Even though we're talking about Japanese stuff, you start using too many words, kuni, yoshi, kuni, sada, kuni, blah, 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 and people they're just going to zone out. It just means nothing to them. So. This is going out to Kawasaki-san. I will not be carving this myself. This is one of the jobs for one of our other carvers. I myself, the job on my carving bench is, the dog. It's one of the prints in this year's subscription series. That's my current job. This is the 3rd print in the cats series, and it's going out to Kawasaki-san. She's partway through it. She's finished the key block already, and now she needs the color blocks. And in a perfect world, I would just send her this stuff and she would do this. But she doesn't, can't, won't, not sure what modal to use, but it's not happening, so I have to do it myself. So. When I was myself a full-time carver printer, making my Surimono albums, this part of the job I really enjoyed because it gave me a head start on the carving. By doing this part of it, you're going over the whole image, and especially the cases where I actually traced the whole thing myself to start with. You go over the whole image once with your pens and pencils before you even start carving. So when it came time to carve, you were already, you knew what the image was. You knew where everything is. You knew what it was about. It was a really important head start for me. Change my glasses here. I think a bit too close here. That's better. Why did you overmark the top right window but didn't leave a white stripe? I believe I have left a white stripe here. It's pretty thin. I think I'm okay on that. I've left a stripe. I forgot the headband. Yeah, I'm still working through this, and I'll keep mentioning, thank you, but I still am working through this, so... we're not at the stage of checking to see what I've forgotten, not yet, but that's coming in a minute. So there are things that I forgot when I was tracing it, so just a minute, this stuff here. Okay, now we're at the point of looking for mistakes. Top left-hand corner. I think I'm good to go. I think I'm good. Bit more of a dot in the top left-hand corner. There's a dot here, I've got it. There's one here and here, I've got it. I think I'm good to go. I think I'm good to go. There are two more. We're not quite sure how many color blocks there's going to be on this print. The key block is finished. She has also already finished two color blocks. They're basically the flat base tones that come underneath the whole thing. After she did those and returned them to me, I then, as I said, I did the printing of the key block, and I've prepared these three color blocks. But there's no way that's going to be enough. So that's one key block and 5 faces of color blocks. But there's no way that's going to give us the depth we need in this print. But she doesn't have enough experience, and we're still not sure what we're doing with this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut and test print at this point. We know it's not finished, but that will give us an idea where we need more depth, where we've got too much color already, and where we have to go from there. So she will carve these next 3 faces, Kawasaki-san. She will return them to me. We will do a test print with the key block and these first 5 colors, and that'll give us some hints on where we need to go from there. Yeah, comments, no problem. As John's saying, you saved my butt. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I have nearly forgotten something or screwed up, and people in the chat have noticed a pending mistake. So yeah, so no problem. If you see something that you think is going wrong, speak up, no question. It could be something totally okay, and it could again be an oops moment. So it's okay, speak up. You can see how this is going to work, right? Obviously, the cat here, I'm doing the back. This is a shadow, so the light is clearly going to be coming from these buildings, spilling out into the alleyway here. So a lot of this is easy. You just put shadows on the back of stuff and light on the front of stuff. But in real life, how it's going to turn out, I think this is one of those streams where all of the action is over in the chat. Obviously, there's not much happening here on screen today. You guys seem to have most of the action happening there, so. Ah, Soka, that reminds me actually, speaking about action, at the end of the last stream, was it Mondays? I was about to hit the shut off button when I paused just for a second, and just then a woman and a dog came by. Was that Monday or was it Saturday? Monday, I think it was Monday to show. And we had our camera the other way, watching the floater. And then the dog there sniffed around, and he went around the back of the floater, and she didn't do what she's supposed to do. The lady didn't do the wash up job. She didn't wash up after her dog. And I was sitting here saying and thinking bad things about her. Come on, lady, the world is watching. Do your job. You know, your dog has just peed on the post. Please wash it. And somebody made the suggestion, maybe the dog actually didn't pee. So I checked. When I went out there, it was dry. So it was all cool. The dog didn't do anything. She didn't need to wash up after it. It was all cool. So I had sat here thinking terrible thoughts about her. It wasn't necessary. So you guys go, it didn't seem like the dog peed. That's right. So. No, I didn't get down and smell it. I just looked for moisture and whatever. Who are they in the white gloves, coats, and flashy hats near the new place? I don't know. Let's see what's happening here. There's guardmen, so there's obviously some kind of construction going to be happening somewhere over there, somewhere. The guys with the white hats, they've got the bands, the safety bands, so they're the, the guardmen. You can see him with his red whatever. So some kind of construction, presumably over there, is happening. No idea. And actually, there's a standby on this, because we talked about this when I told you the gas company screwed up our tiles here, our not tiles, what are they called? The things on the pavers. And they're going to fix the pavers that they spoiled on our sidewalk. But the part that was chewed all across the street is not going to be fixed now. And they said they're going to leave it because the entire street, Hoppidori, the street that we can't see here going off to the left, is any minute now going to start reconstruction. And it's going to be a massive construction. They're going to turn Hoppidori into the same kind of street that we have here, with car space and sidewalks supposedly separated, special lighting, special pavers, you name it. I have no idea what the design is. This has been cooking for years, and there has been war going on for years between the powers that be that want to clean up the district and the bar owners and customers who say, leave it alone. It's a nice district. Just let us alone. The war has been going on for years, and it's been decided, and construction starts, as I said, any day now. The original plan was it was going to run through the Olympics, leave it alone through the Olympics, and then as soon as the Olympics was finished, that's when construction was due to begin. Now, the Olympics, of course, got postponed, so I really don't even know how this is working. But apparently they're not waiting for any more Olympics. They're going to start doing this now. And I have real mixed feelings about this. I like the idea of having neat and clean area. My street, I love it. It's neat and clean. But to somebody who knows this street in the old days, this has been cleaned up and gentrified. And oh, it was so cool. You should have seen it before. And I get that idea. I only know the new clean Rokdori, our street. And here over there at Hoppidori, I only know the old funky Hoppidori. And I'm a reactionary old guy. Just leave it alone. We don't need to change it, whatever. But there are changes afoot. There are changes afoot. There's lots of backstory here. There's lots and lots and lots of backstory here. Some of which I know, some of which I don't know. Those bar owners, I don't know how many of them own their places, because what they are, this was set up after the war. All those bar owners, well, they're family members, not the same people now, but the same families. They used to be in front of Sensoji Temple. In the pre-war era, in front of Sensoji Temple was nowhere near the neat, clean plaza that it is now. It was a forest of bars and you name it. It was just a dense thicket of shacks and bars. And they were all owned by Korean people who had been brought over from Korea. And it was called Chosenjutaku, the Korean neighborhood. And the whole area in front of Sensoji Temple, where you do the thing with the smoke and you wave it up among yourself and stuff like that, over there off to the right-hand side. It was a forest of ramshackle shacks and bars. The whole thing burned to the ground during the war. The American air raids burned it all down. And it was rebuilt. The shacks and stuff were rebuilt straight away. But when Sensoji Temple rebuilds started to happen, the mood was different. No longer do we want this old fire trap ramshackle district. It's time to clean this up and turn it into a modern thing. So they did. They told those bar people, you're done. Out of here. You got no rights to this land anyway, just get out of here. No, I'm talking about the space between Hozomon and Sensoji. What's the whole thing, the whole cluster? I've got a map, we could scan it and put it up there. So, between the top of Nakamise, off to the right-hand side where there's now a little park and a wisteria, and then inside Hozomon, the whole thing up there Right, there was only the little tiny channel to get from Nakamisidori up to Sensoji. The rest of it was a rat's nest of, remember, the pagoda was on the right-hand side as well. The pagoda was over there. And in and around the pagoda were all these bars and shacks and places to get different kinds of entertainment and you name it. Anyway, those guys were blown out of there. That's it, you guys, you're done. Your history, get out of here. And there was fights. In the end, there was an agreement that, okay, you've got to get out of here, but tell you what, we'll let you use the space, the back end of Sensoji Garden, far away from Sensoji Temple. There's the Denpo-in Garden. There's a wall over there at the back end. This is this wall right here we're looking at. Put your shacks up against that wall and you're good to go. And that was the creation of Hoppidori. And these restaurants here, they were all just little shacks huddled against the wall all along what has now become Hoppidori. Time goes by, they build, and here it is. So these now, the people that are here now are the descendants of the Korean people who had the bars in front of Sensoji Temple. And I have no idea the status of this. Do they own the land? Are they leasing it? Are they just squatting on it? I don't even know. I can't ask. Nobody's even going to talk about that sort of stuff. But that history has made all this negotiation now. Are they able to use that space? Are they legal? Who knows? Whatever. It's made it all very, very iffy. This was happening just when I was born. I've got a map of the area from 1951, my birth year. And it shows Chosen Jitaku is still there. Those bars and stuff are still on that space. Sensoji hadn't been rebuilt yet. The temple was still just a destroyed area. I'm older than the temple. The temple didn't get rebuilt until a few years after I was born. Maybe, I forget the exact date, 1958 maybe? It's Wikipedia Sensoji page, but I'm older than Sensoji Temple, than the physical manifestation of Sensoji Temple. How's our time? 9:11. Okay, a few more minutes, then we'll switch to our final session of the session, our final part of the session today, the show and tell. We have an interesting one today. It's well documented stuff, so we know what it is. Dave, well, I'm not sure what you're asking. Does anyone give you trouble about gentrification? I'm not sure what you mean. I know. Am I a gaijin? Yes, of course, I'm 100% gaijin, but I'm not sure what's the question with me in gentrification. I know. I'm not quite sure what you're asking there. I know. But of course I'm a gaijin, absolutely. I will be until the day I die here, of course. It's a status I have no problem with. I know. I understand how it works. I would never in any way try to think of myself as Japanese, not in any way whatsoever. You know. Okay, I think we're good. We're good to go here. There's still lots of work to do on that, but let's switch over to the third part of our stream today, the show and tell section. Actually, this is a good stream today in the sense that it shows a real, this is a real, I don't know, snapshot. This is the kind of stuff that takes this is my life, you know. So there's lots forgotten. I know. Just a minute. I know we haven't finished that last page, so don't sweat it. Ring, ring, ring. Show and tell bells are ringing, ringing, ringing. The bells ringing for me in my gown. This one's going to be easily understandable because it's in English. This dates from 1955. It's a set of prints that was made clearly for the foreign market. It was made in Kyoto. Set of 6 pictures, Kyoto Hanga Inn, one of the main tourist companies in Kyoto. The big old-fashioned companies down there, Unsodo and Uchida, had been making ukiyo-e productions for years. The Kyoto Hanga Inn, I don't know, when did they die? 1980s, I guess, whatever. Let's have a look. We should zoom out for overview first, then we'll zoom in. Overview first. It's a set of 6 prints in a packet. People would obviously, they would buy the package. 6 again. I was saying the other day, you never see stuff in sets of 6. Never, 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 never. The bullshit. Never set of 6 again. Here we are. 1955. Kyoto Hanga Inn. It's series 3. There were 6, 6, and 6. This is the third group of a group of 6 prints, made a group of 18 prints about the No Theater. And it wasn't totally just all for foreigners. There is some Japanese in here. But what they've done is every one of the prints here has a full explanation in English and Japanese. And what's cool is, this is really interesting for us here who are collecting prints all the time. There's a rundown on what they are publishing. So we can see, this is interesting for us because we can see, here we are, 18, set 1, 2, and 3, and then there's a set of prints about Kyogen. This is No, this is Kyogen, this is Jidai Bijinga, beauties of the old days. So we have a really good information for us, and sometimes when we find prints here, we have no idea who published it, what's going on, but having this is really helpful. We'll come back to this in a minute. Let's look at some prints first. So I don't tear them, let's just take them out of here, put them on top so we can look at them carefully here. And this is the deal. These are static scenes taken from the No Theater. We know what this is. Kabuki is the noisy, in-your-face, wild theater. No is the static, what's the word? Well, you know about it or you don't know about it. It's the poses, chanting, slow dancing. These are Kyoto prints. This is all made with opaque pigments. The white you're seeing here is white powder on top. And these are all really duded up. Look at this. The whole back of this print is coated with mica powder. So this print, you can't see it just from one aspect. If I sit here looking at it, it's a nice clean print with the background, but if I move it around a bit, it becomes much more different. Now I myself, I know very little about the theater. I can look across to this little guidebook here. Should we do this with one of them? Let's do this. We can't do this with all 6, but let's do this with one. There's the print. And here is, rather than me read it to you, is it better if I just leave this for a minute? So people who know these things, they know the play, of course, this is the image will bring back knowledge of what the play is itself. Let's zoom in. It's a mask, of course. It's not a human's face. The actor here is wearing a mask, of course. And all the coloring you see here is opaque pigments on top of the paper. We see no paper here at all. In fact, if we go, let's go to the edge for a second. The paper color, there you are. The paper is a white washy paper. None of that is visible in here. All the white you're seeing here is pigment on top of that paper. So this is post-war, 1955. Let's flip through them. This presumably is a lion dance of some kind, I think. Oh, okay, I see what's happening outside. They're actually fixing. They're going to start to fix our tiles today. Today's the day. I thought it was tomorrow. Today's the day. Are the opaque pigments similar to gouache? I really can't answer that because I myself have no experience using any kind of gouache, so I'm sorry, I don't really know. The opacity in most of these Kyoto pigments comes from the presence of what we call in Japanese gofun. It's a white powder, and I think it's basically crushed seashells. It's calcium carbonate. So they're using the same kind of pigment that we use here in Tokyo, but they mix it with this white stuff. So they will take a red pigment, mix it with a bunch of white to come up with pink, but as it happens, it's also opaque. Gouache, I don't know, so I'm sorry. You're asking the wrong guy here. And I myself have very, very little knowledge of how to print in this method. I grew up here, I grew up in Tokyo. I mean, my printmaking life has been here in Tokyo, for the most part making ukiyo-e reproductions. I've done a small amount of work in this field, but not much at all. I'm not really the knowledgeable man here. Look at this. Those are metallics on the chest area. This one is full of metallic prints. This one is blinged out. Those Kyoto people all claim to be so sophisticated, but they'll bling as much as anybody else. And again, we're seeing a mask, of course. That's not a real face. This is really not to my taste myself, you know. This is not the kind of print I would choose to drool over and to have personally for pleasure. I've got these in our collection because we need them for research and study and to understand how woodblock printmaking works in Japan. But this isn't my personal preference for what's pleasure in a print. I want to see paper, lots and lots of paper. Was it a man or woman behind the mask? I don't know. Is no theater, like kabuki of course was all men, even the ones that were women's roles. In the no theater, when there's a woman's role, is that played by women? I don't know, I'm sorry. Let's see if there's any comment about that in No, it's talking about the character is Lady Komachi. But it doesn't specifically mention anything about the acting and who does this. I don't know. Is it? Rangaksha is telling us, no also is all men. So be it, okay? Still nowadays? One of our staff members that works in the shop occasionally, she comes only a couple of times a month when we have shop, she manages a no theater over in the Shibuya district. She doesn't need our work, but she comes because she wants to learn about what we're doing and be part of our scene. But her job is management of a no theater. Should I turn the mic off? This outside audio, turn it off, I guess. Okay, hi. And again, everything, all the white you see is on top of the paper. The paper is what it is here, but we see no paper in the middle here. Of course, even though we're talking about the different kinds of pigments used in these Kyoto prints, the carving and stuff, it's carving. Everything you see is carved on blocks of wood. At some point in making this print, somebody went through with a marker doing exactly what I did. There was a key block printing, and they went through that key block printing, tracing out for every single color that you're going to be seeing here. Can opaque pigment give the same line delicacy? I'm not sure what you're asking, because opaque pigments, we're talking about color blocks here. The line delicacy, the lines. You mean if a pattern was carved in a color pattern? No, it would be more difficult, because that opaque pigment has glue in it, it's stickier, it's got more body, and it tends to blotch around. You know, maybe we could actually even see that white thing down here. It's a bit blobby and blotchy. You can see here, some of it, there's, where are we here? There's blobs of it stuck in between the different areas. So no, the delicacy wouldn't be the best way to go. And this is the sixth one. I'm curious about this. This is a female character, but I don't see this as a mask. This looks like a real face. So are there also normal humans acting in a no theater with no mask? And this looks female. I don't know. I don't pretend any knowledge of this theater. I'm sorry. I really don't know. It is a mask? Okay, so be it. I don't know. Again, I'm not in love with the shininess here. You know, sometimes having shininess on a print, we've done it ourselves. This last print we've made just now, the print we're going to publish in March, we've used a mica powder in one of the patterns. It was a very fancy piece of cloth, part of the stand for this bird. So we've used it. So I'm not trying to be totally hypocritical, but I just think whatever, too much is too much. But they are nicely made, and they're in very good condition. And I've got no idea what these would have sold for back in the old days. There's no price on this set, and their catalog, unfortunately, doesn't give prices here. It's too bad. So for reference, here's the title. January 1955, Kyoto Hangai-in. They had a Tokyo office too. They had a Tokyo branch. It's okay. The day my Japanese becomes perfect is the day when I can laugh at Japanese people making English mistakes. It's okay. No, they're gone. In fact, it's interesting. Kyoto Hangai-in, somebody has got their blocks, and that somebody is selling them on Yahoo auctions. And what he does is once or twice a year, or 2 times or 3 times a year, he brings up and puts on Yahoo auctions a bunch of the blocks from Kyoto Hangai-in, and they go for stunning prices. And what he's been doing, he's been cherry picking. He's been putting up all the famous stuff, Hokusai's Great Wave or this or whatever, and selling the block sets from Kyoto Hangai-in. And they go for staggering prices, $2,000–$3,000 for the set. 6 digits in Japanese yen, 200,000 yen. I just watch this go by and like, if I'm going to pay that much, I can pay a carver to carve this, So I would have liked them if I could have got some of these old blocks. We could make reprints from them, but not at the prices they're going. There's no way. So whether they're being bought by a museum somewhere, or they're being bought by antique collectors, or whether they're being bought by somebody who wants to print them and use them, I have no idea. But I'm out of the game for those kind of prices. And yeah, sets, not breaking up the pieces of wood one by one by one. I haven't seen any in quite a while now, half a year or so. So maybe it's time the guy's going to put up another bunch now and then. People, who have got a lot of the same thing on Yahoo auctions, they will of course stage it. If you put 100 block sets out all at once, you're not going to be able to sell them. But put out a few every few months, where you go, people will be able to buy them. So somebody's got the blocks. I don't know who. It's not my knowledge, but whatever. Okay, I am going to be out of here. That's it. Today's Thursday. I'll be back 2 days from now, Saturday, and I'm really not sure what I'll be doing. I might be checking more prints. Probably I'll be carving. And I can tease a little bit. Yesterday I spent most of the day, I destroyed my voice yesterday doing some video recording for an experimental video. I don't know if I'm going to put it up on YouTube or not. I'm going to do, this evening, I'm going to do some editing and put it together, and then this evening and Friday, I'm going to sit and look at it and think about it. And I'm going to think about it. It's an experimental video. So maybe this next weekend, there might be something fun on YouTube. Or if I get cold feet and get chicken, there won't be. I don't know. I'm not teasing, I'm just describing the real situation. I've been trying to convince myself, trying to talk myself into doing this, and I haven't succeeded yet. Okay, anyway, 2 more days. See you on Saturday, and we will have a new fresh sidewalk, it seems. In fact, let's put this up a minute so you can see what's going on. Obviously, they're going to fix it into 2 places. Yes, right here in front of this shop, and then over there in front of the other one. We're getting our new clean sidewalk all back. Okay, thanks. Bye for now. Signing off.